Again, from the news, we understand that there is a sort of problem in Zimbabwe where you have the president Robert Mugambo, uh, Robert Mugabe, talking about the war veterans in what was considered to be a negative sort of talk. One of the things that we like to say is that Mugabe before had a sort of problem with the freedom fighters or the war veterans, especially in Matembeleland, where we remember very well he did use the Korean forces to crush the rebellion that was there in the Matembeleland. And recently, there has been a lot of talk in Zimbabwe about what is going to happen after Mugabe. Who is going to succeed in Mugabe? On one side is the ruling party that keeps Mugabe in power. And we know very well that Mugabe still exercises power there. And it doesn't seem like not really someone who doesn't know actually what happens, because he gets very good information on what is happening. When you are not here, somehow you are still alert if there's nothing that has happened to your brain. But with Mugabe, he is sharp and up to date, and he makes most of the decisions. The other thing is that somehow Mugabe seems to be fighting his own ruling party, where you have a lot of divisions. There are a lot of infighting within that ruling party. We know that opposition in Zimbabwe, just like in other opposition in Africa, seems somehow to be divided. They don't come in one voice. When they come in one voice, normally they win. But in most cases, what happens is that opposition copies probably from the person they want to take out, and they have the same sort of marks of the ruling person. In that sense, therefore, they tend to lose because, for example, if they want to take Mugabe out in Zimbabwe, then somehow they have to be united. But then they don't know exactly who is going to be the leader. So they divide themselves up depending on the different alliances that they have, and then different people compete to be the opposition person, the one who is going to replace the particular ruler like Mugabe. And then somehow it seems that the party always wins, the ruling party. Zimbabwe is expected to go to the polls in 2018, and if they go to the polls again, you have Mugabe, if he stands, probably with all likelihood, winning again, because Mugabe, to be honest to him, he is a freedom fighter. He fought for Zimbabwe's independence. But again, he was not the only one who fought for independence. The war veterans, specifically the one that fought the Liberation War, are also credited for that, because there's no single individual who can be credited to be the only hero in the War of Independence. There were so many people who were involved. Some of them may not necessarily have been soldiers. The regular people in the villages who suffered daily because of the infighting between the forces of liberation and the colonial forces that were trying to maintain the so-called law and order. So in that case, therefore, Mugabe, like any other ruler who has been in power for a long time, rotated probably to hold to power until, when, because some people want to hold to power until probably God calls them from this world. So we hope that Mugabe is not aiming to go up to 100 years, still holding power. And if he does, then opposition will be growing because of that. Because once you hold power, power seems sweet, but then in one or the other, you have to realize that it has to come to an end. And it's good to end it with a good note. So for Zimbabwe, we hope that somehow the opposition will fight a single voice. And then we also hope that somehow the ruling party will not make the country go the wrong way, in which case we have another conflict in that country. So let's hope that somehow Zimbabweans, lovers of freedom and lovers of liberty, will be able to come out of the sort of situation they are in now with Mugabe, and come out probably with a better vision, and also a good Zimbabwe, a Zimbabwe that is progressive. And that's what we want to see out of Zimbabwe, because when Zimbabwe was fighting for independence, a lot of us had a lot of hopes for Zimbabwe. But even now, we've not lost hope, because Zimbabwe still seems to be our hero in terms of independence, independence liberation, and we hope that they will still continue with that. Independence and liberation were very crucial to Africa, and Zimbabwe had a very good lead in that. So we hope Zimbabweans will wake up and rethink again about how they can strategize about the future of their country. It's Namikar again, commenting on Zimbabwe.